thank you. Sorry, we're trying to get our chairs quickly situated here. Hello, welcome. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you all for being here. Still okay? We're going to move over just a little bit more. We all fit? Great. Thank you all for being here. So I'm going to start by introducing my panel. As our speaker just introduced, I'm actually a lucky teacher of all these students sitting here. Directly to my right is Arman Sangupta, and he is a senior this year, class of 2017. Next is Smriti Balaji. She's a junior this year, class of 2018. Next to her is Christy Ko, sophomore, class of 2019, and Sheldra Sarin is at the very end there, also class of 2019. So my hope today is that you're going to get sort of an insight about what our changes in education are like, and they've all been asked to sort of highlight a project that they've done and kind of speak to that in terms of how our engineering program has led them to these different types of projects. So I'm going to just jump right in and have them start by talking a little bit about the work that they've done, sharing a little bit about a current or past project. So let's start with Arman.
Hi everyone. So I've been working on a project called BSapien, and basically what it is, it's kind of what I envision it to be is an inconspicuous bracelet. So basically when you're in a situation of emergency, such as gunpoint or sexual assault, you can basically just press a little button on your bracelet and it connects to your phone via Bluetooth. And then through that, you can send a text from an app on your phone to emergency contacts such as friends, family, or local police nearby. So this inspiration came when in 2012 I went to visit my grandparents in India, and the whole trip was marred by this brutal Nirbhaya gang rape case that happened. And then so when I came back, I noticed that the problem wasn't only in countries like India and stuff like that. I noticed that it was happening on college campuses in America as well. So once I went to the engineering academy, I realized that I actually developed tools and skills to build it, such as electrical engineering skills and computer science skills. And then from there, I was able to make an initial prototype through like really clunky hardware model, and then eventually move it to a PCB model. And right now I'm working with Samsung, with someone from Samsung named Suraj Ethiranja. I don't know if he's here today, but he's been helping me. Right now we're working on combining that with machine learning to take data from the wearable, and that's basically how my journey is going right now.
Hi, I'm Smriti, and when we were talking about education, I was thinking about a thing that a lot of high schoolers face every day. It's a fear of failure. Everyone's so scared that they're going to fail their next test, that they're going to get an F in a class, that they really don't stop and think about what they can actually achieve. And for that, I created a game. It's called Ups and Downs. And basically, in this game, it's unique in that you can only achieve more levels by failing. So it teaches students that you can only gain more opportunities if you take a chance and take a risk and potentially fail. And so in this game, people start at the top, and you can obviously win when you start at the top. But if you fall, you don't die immediately. You go down to 4 levels until eventually like a game has to end somewhere. So after the 4th level, you die. But it gives you an opportunity to learn more, and users can actually collect more points by gaining more levels.
So hi, my name is Christy Ko. I'm a sophomore at Dublin High, and the project I want to share with you today is called AquaSense. What it is essentially is a monitoring system built on top of an aquaponic system, which is basically growing fish and plants in a mutually beneficial system. And so our system is a 5-sensor system that measures 4 different conditions: pH, water level, temperature, and light. And we do this using a Raspberry Pi and live stream all the information, all the measurements onto a web server in order that users can see how their things are going even away from home. And in fact, we even created a function that alerts users to danger zones when their conditions exceed those what they want.
So hi, my name is Sheldon Serene, and did you know that 24% of car crashes are weather related? And if you ever lived in really cold or snowy areas, or even in the Bay Area during the colder seasons, you'll see that most of the time frost tends to build up on your windshield. And this can be a hassle because it takes sometimes 10 to even 30 minutes just to take off the frost using like a scraper or anything else you can find at your house. And it can also be a danger, especially if you leave it on the windshield. So some of my friends and I got the opportunity to solve this problem through the entrepreneurship competition at our school. And basically, we started by doing a lot of consumer research. And not gonna lie, we did a lot of research using the Amazon customer reviews, and we realized that most of the products that already exist in the market aren't as effective as they may seem. So our product, we decided to make a product that had a vinyl covering, and then on top of the vinyl there's a silicone. So the vinyl helps in sticking on the windshield without it coming off when it gets wet. And the silicone is really temperature resistant, so it resists high and really cold temperatures. And I believe that we can extend our project by using temperature sensors and even the smart car's ability to connect with the internet to predict maybe when the frost might come, and to alert the consumer when to put on the frost shield. So those are some of the ideas that we're thinking through right now, but we have to go through some of the challenges.
So I'm going to pull it back a bit because our last panelist, Brian Anderson, just joined us on stage. He's a junior in our academy, probably got lost in the many items in the Expo Center, so he's going to talk a little bit about his project, Pro.
Hi, I'm Brian. I first want to apologize for being late. I kind of got caught up in everything that was going on. So what we're trying to develop here is Aisles Pro. What Aisles Pro is it's a mobile application that gives you in-store location. So for instance, you walk into a store, say you want to find the guacamole. Sometimes finding the guacamole can be pretty tough. The store might be disorganized and stuff like that. However, with Aisles Pro, all you have to do, pull out your phone, open the app, type in guacamole, it'll give you a map right to the guacamole, so you won't have to actually spend that 15 minutes searching for an item that should take you 2 minutes to find. What we have is a 3 sort of ended application. The first one is for the customers. For instance, for the example I just explained, that's what the customers would be using. They'd be using the product location. The second is for the store. So a store might recognize person A goes to find the guacamole every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Hey, guacamole must be pretty popular. Let's move it to the back to make customers have to walk through everything else to go get it. So that's for the companies. And then the third aspect of our device is for advertisers. So maybe Coca-Cola comes out with a new summer drink that they really want to promote. With our app, all they have to do is say, here, we want you to promote this. A customer walks into a store with the new drink that came out, and a little non-intrusive ad will pop up. Hey, this is on sale. Coca-Cola is really promoting this. Would you like a direct map to it? They click yes, and they'll go right to the product, which can be really useful for companies trying to promote their products. So right now, we're looking at iBeacon for the location. It's extremely accurate, but it only works with iOS devices. So we're trying to find a cheaper, maybe more effective solution that can expand to Android and other operating systems.
Thank you. So now that you have a sense of what the students are working on, both past and present, I'm going to have them share a little bit about how they got there and how our engineering program has taken them to where they are now. So I'd like to start with Armand. If you could talk a little bit about about what our engineering classes are like, how they're maybe different from your core subject classes. What is that environment like in the academy?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, like the class size, the size of the class is completely differently structured. Traditional classroom will have 30 desks all together, and then just a teacher in the front. But an engineering classroom are just wide tables, a bunch of tools laying everywhere, and kind of like groups of 4 people you're going to collaborate with, work on projects, and then just a teacher who can either doesn't really have a set position. They can be all around the classroom teaching, and yeah, it's really cool the amount of tools and everything laying around. Basically, just enough things to get you started on whatever you want. The curriculum's completely different as well. A lot of classes have a curriculum that is standardized by, or they have to teach through like AP classes and stuff like that. But our curriculum, once you get certain concepts and ideas going, you can kind of we have a lot of projects where you can kind of build onto that and kind of make it your own in a sense. So that's really cool.
Well, Christy, could you kind of expand on that a little bit, and maybe how some of the problem solving that you've done in class has led you to other explorations?
Yeah, definitely. So in class, we do a lot of these projects that tie into what we've just learned in class. Like, for example, we've done this when we were learning about trusses. We did this bridge designer project where you have to design a bridge that overpasses a river that can let's say have one car go across. And the application of these things that we learn in class actually cement those concepts in our mind and help us also see that, hey, I'm actually equipped to solve real world problems and to take a problem from outside and actually do something about it. So that kind of really changes students' viewpoints. Like, for example, I go out there and when you see problems in real life, you start to identify them and you start to see how you can use your skills to actually solve that. That's really cool. Yeah. And also, I want to talk about how working in teams, it's also when we're in projects, we work in teams of 4, and you just have a lot of different team dynamics. Sometimes you work with people who are a little more quiet, or they're totally out with their ideas and this is the way to go. But it really teaches you how to work with lots of different people, how to sometimes to take charge, sometimes to step back, and that's also how you're going to work in, you're going to meet a lot of people out in the workforce like that as well. So it prepares you to interact with people when you're older, and also to just learn how to manage a team as well.
Sheldra, could you kind of expand a little bit about that? I know you've talked to me personally about sort of the diversity of teams and how that's impacted you in the projects that you worked on.
Yeah, so I think that diversity in teams is a really important thing, especially having people from different backgrounds in STEM is really important in making a better product, and especially in when we're brainstorming, having all those different knowledges can help the other person who probably doesn't have so much experience in that field gain knowledge and learn a little bit more, because as technology grows, a lot of jobs are opening where there's multidisciplinary fields are needed, and I think diversity helps prepare people for multidisciplinary fields, and as well as girl-boy teams, having more girls in engineering is a really important thing, because boys and girls have complementary traits that help with projects, as well as they can bring different perspectives in a project.
Smruti, can you talk a little bit about some of the more specific skills that you found maybe most transferable, or that you utilize most in your real day-to-day life?
Yeah. So basically, when I was in 9th grade, I took geometry class, and I looked at it, and I thought, why am I measuring the area of a triangle? What am I going to do in the future when I look at this triangle, and I see SAS and all these theorems? Why do I have to prove this? Who even cares, right? And that's what I think most high for me, and that's why engineering was really important for me, like really in my high school career, because when you take a math class, well, personally, I like math, but I'm not too good at it, and I really don't like math. But when I do math, I look at it and I'm like, why am I taking the derivative of this? But when you do engineering, you actually apply it to something. You're like, oh, I'm going to take the derivative of this to like calculate this thing so that I can create another product. So I think really the Dublin High School Engineering Academy has really changed my educational experience because it helped me put something to apply my concepts to. So like project-based learning is really different from just like learning concepts because it actually gives you a passion, you know?
Cool. So I like that you mentioned the entrepreneur project, and I just want to give people a little bit of context and background to that. And I know Brian has done not only engineering classes but business classes as well. So I'm hoping that Brian, you can kind of chime in, maybe tell us a little bit about what the entrepreneur project is and how you can kind of combine those two areas of your passion, both engineering and business.
So the Entrepreneur Project is sort of a scaled down business concept competition. So what you're trying to do is develop a product and create a business plan for it. You're trying to sell an idea, you're trying to sell a product, you're trying to say, okay, we have this idea, we're going to be able to sell this. So basically, everybody gets together a project, they figure out what they want to do, and then they develop the project. The voting goes on, and you send finalists to the final competition, in which judges show up and vote on who wins. So in the past, I've created several different projects, but that's not important. I'm going to go over what it really is. So I feel the most critical thing for me is being able to apply the engineering mindset I've created and this business mindset I've created through different classes and really like applying them to this competition. This competition has allowed not only me but many other engineers to really show off what they know, sell a product, and make it feel as though they're really making a change. So like Smriti said, you might have to use these theorems to pass a test, right? But who knew you would use these theorems to actually develop an impactful product that could change a lot of people's lives. So that's what the entrepreneurship project is all about.
So I'll open this up to anyone. Can you share a little bit about how, like, maybe your mindset has changed about education in general, and how being part of this program has sort of built different skills for you personally and your preparation for the future?
I think that especially like my STEM classes and the engineering class that I'm in right now has really prepared me for the future, because in colleges and in your career, you're not going to be like sitting in a desk and they're going to tell you like a set of procedures of what to do and this is how you do it and like this is what you're going to do. And I think that it's really given me like skills such as creativity and like teamwork, especially because you have to cooperate with other people in your team to make something like such as a product or complete a task. And yeah, thank you.
So I think that in this program, especially PLTW, we do a lot of classes where you learn specific skills. Like I took Introduction to Engineering Design as a freshman, and while I may not be really interested in Autodesk in the future, it helped me get a certification in that. So I basically can explore more fields in engineering than I would have been able to like just in a general class. And this year I took AP Computer Science. Now, if you ask me to program something in Java, I'd probably look at you for a long time and say, hey, do you really want me to do this? Are you really sure about that? Because I don't know how much I can do for you. But the thing is, when I program in Java, I discovered that I actually like programming. So like, while I may not be able to program as much as I'd like to in Java, in the future I hope to like explore that. And I think in high school, that's the most important part, because while you may not be at a professional level in what you learn, at least you get like an opportunity to experience more things and potentially use those in the future.
I think something really important that we also learn especially in the entrepreneurship project as well, is how to like present yourself and how to pitch something that you have to put out its best qualities and to just convince people, hey, this is something great. And that skill is something that you really need for not only like when you're applying to colleges, but also when you're applying to jobs, when you want people to notice you, you can be super qualified, and like if you stay silent about it, then no one's gonna find you. But if you are able to advocate for yourself, as we learn to do in presentations and in the entrepreneurship projects, then you'll get those connections, you'll go places.
I'll just make a quick note. One of the things great about our engineering academy is we also have a class that we offer called Principles of Engineering. And a lot of people take this class first because it exposes you to a bunch of different, engineering fields. So a lot of people from this class can find out what it is about engineering that they specifically like, or maybe that engineering's not for them and they should, pursue a different career path. So that's another way it helps prepare your mindset and what you want to do in the future.
So last question before we kind of open it up to the audience. So hopefully some of you have questions as well for them. Can you kind of give your best case scenario of how you see education changing, and what are some things that we should sort of demand from classrooms and schools and educators to ensure that our students are being well prepared for the future?
So I think the most important thing in education right now is that you leave projects open-ended. I think a big problem, the reason people are going into college and into the workforce not knowing exactly what they have to do, is because people say, okay, here's a goal, here's how you get there, do it. In the engineering academy, that's not exactly how it is. We'll have a variety of different goals we can reach, and how we reach it is up to us. This really creates an adaptive mindset that allows you to be flexible and really learn how to get to where you want to go through your own means. And the Engineering Academy does a really good job of that, and I think in an ever-changing work environment with new jobs popping up every day, there might be things in 10 years we've never even imagined could come to light. Having a flexible and adaptive, perspective on the work environment can really, propel you forward in life.
I just want to ask a quick question to the audience. How many of you guys bubble in things every day? Like on a standardized test, do you guys take tests? Do you guys bubble in answer sheets? Yeah, so I think a really important part of education is moving away from rote memorization and standardized tests and doing more adaptive project-based learning. Because the truth is, in the real world, you're not really going to bubble in answer sheets and learn how to not make straight marks on the side so your entire test gets disqualified. Because the truth is, that's not problems we face in the real world. So the next time, when we're doing the STAR test and we're circling answers on the side, we're learning how to erase properly, how to bubble in a circle properly, but we're not really learning how to succeed in the workforce. And I think that doing a lot of projects, working with other people, learning more engineering skills can really provide, not necessarily even engineering really, just more workplace skills can help students in the future, because right now we're not really teaching them what they need to succeed when they grow up.
Yeah, and I mean, you could just look around the IoT World Conference event today. All these products and startups and different companies here today, they didn't they weren't told what to do. They had a big sense of creativity. They had an open mind on what the project they wanted to do. They were open to changes throughout their design process. And that's definitely something, going back to the idea of open-ended projects and creativity that we should encourage in our schools.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to open it up to some questions. These could be general questions about the program, or if you would like to ask any of the students more information about their specific projects. I know they sort of had a quick intro about the individual projects, but if you'd like to learn more about them, please feel free to ask as well. We have probably about 10 minutes.
Good afternoon.
Hi there. Very well done. Wonderful job. I'm really impressed. And congratulations to the teacher and the students. One quick question that I would like to ask is this program open to kids from other schools as well?
So they would actually have to go through an inter-district transfer into Dublin High School. So Dublin High School is a regular public school, so all students that live in Dublin, the city of Dublin, would be allowed to attend. And our program itself serves about 20% of the population each year, over 400 students. And then within our academy, academy, we have about 100 students that designate sort of like that full pathway that they want to take.
I see. So during summer, like, is there any way that others, kids from other school can be a part of this program instead of just doing inter-school transfer, because that's a huge thing, right? And it's not possible for every child or family to do that. But rather than that, because it's a very interesting and dedicated program, and I can see the results. And definitely, parents like me would like their kids to be a part of something like this, or learn from people who have done it. So if you have something, how do we, is there anything that you can plan in the future?
So I know that Dublin Partners in Education, DPI, they offer summer classes. Some of them are sort of like the gateway or intro to engineering type of courses that they're offered through the summer, and students do come from all over to take those classes. None of our year-long classes are offered in the summer, just for the sake of time. There isn't really time to fit the curriculum of an entire year into one summer. But I would definitely recommend that you check that out. DPI, it's just exactly as it sounds, DPIE. And you can find out their list of courses, summer courses there.
First of all, I want to thank you all for coming tonight, or today morning. It's like nighttime for me because my time's always off. But anyways, thank you for being here today, and I want to congratulate you all for all the amazing things that you're doing. And one thing I want to ask, it's a question for all of you panelists, is for educators out there who don't have such an academy program at their school, what is 2 or 3 things that you would recommend they bring into their classroom so that the students in those classes can also have sort of like a similar entrepreneurship and technology and really hands-on experience as you guys in those STEM-related subjects?
Some like really simple projects that you can do, and then I'm like experiencing like the beginning of the year we had some time and like projects where we had to take like paper and like just like a few pieces of tape and like straws and try to make like a tallest tower or something like that, and those can really help to build like a lot of creativity and teamwork skills that are used in our class, even though we don't even though maybe a class might not have like Vex robotics or any other like engineering stuff.
Sorry, I'm going to use this as like an advertising opportunity because I run the Girls Who Code Club at my school. So if your school really wants to have a program, they can incorporate clubs. Like there's so many great organizations out there. Like, I'm sorry guys, but there's other organizations for you. But like girls, you can do Girls Who Code Club, and it's basically a program where they teach you how to program step by step, and they have mentors around the district. And basically, if you can just find someone in your school who really wants to lead a club, you can start any club you want. Like I know there's a build club, there's a robotics club, there's like so many different clubs in our school, and so you don't really need to have an engineering program. Like as long as you have people who really want to do it, they can do it. Like you can really do it. You can see it like in this area. Like if you put your mind to anything, you can do it. I just sounded like a counselor, but.
So high school is a time where there's cliques and pressure, and you're starting to develop your own sense of purpose and direction and distinguish yourselves. Do you feel like you're cool super geeks, or you're just geeks that are going to deal with it? And how are your peers, and how are you dealing with that? And the next question I have, a second question, is that obviously you guys are doing amazing things. Do you guys feel a pressure to perform and be outstanding and do what PhD students are working on, or companies with $1 million of funding and lots of resources and multi-talents are working on? How do you guys deal with that pressure, and do you feel it?
Okay, so to answer your first question, I feel like definitely not in the popular group, but sometimes just the workload and all the things that you're expected to do, especially in a really competitive school where there are a lot of high-achieving students, sometimes you don't have enough time for friends or social things, but like things like church or youth groups, I do those, and it's a really fun way to like get together, to just step away from all that the pressure of academics and to be able to be yourself, to laugh about things, and just relax.
Yeah, and also like in high school, instead you got 4 years to while you're still dependent on your parents, you can explore a bunch of different things. Like for example, I worked at Chipotle, I worked at Chick-fil-A, just doing a bunch of different things to open up your mind up. I played baseball at the high school. Time management definitely plays a large part in high school, but once you learn how to kind of manage it a little bit more efficiently, you can make time for all the things that you really want to do.
Okay, to answer your first question, I'm clearly the most popular person in high school. Everyone in my high school knows my name. It's on the banners around the high school. And I'm also a member of the cheerleading team. No, I'm actually on the badminton team. But as far as like the pressure goes, I think that everyone really wants to do the best they can. Like I know my friend, we have an entrepreneur project going on right now, and her idea was, hey, when you go to the bathroom and it smells really bad, what if you had something that you could put on your toilet so that when you flushed it, it would release air freshener? And so I was like, okay, that's a great idea, but I'm not really going to present that to a bunch of people, And so I think there's just a thing where you don't really want to embarrass yourself, so you try to do really great ideas. But I mean, people just push themselves in my school, I think. And my last project, this one, I mean, I did it in JavaScript, but I tried to do the best I could with it, Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna use some of my time self-servingly, and that everything that you're doing is right in my wheelhouse. I'm the CEO of a company. I'm the ambassador of the technology committee of a large manufacturing association that's keenly aware of IoT and the cloud. I'm an educational advisory person for the county in which my kids go to school, and all those things tie in together. I want to congratulate you, first of all. The program's amazing. I think it should be repeated all over the world, and whether or not you realize it or not, you're fulfilling a community need, and that right now, at least in my community, it's 0% unemployment for technology jobs. And so we have to get more people out and trained in the community. The methodologies that you're using are amazing, and obviously you now have passion for that industry, and so hopefully you'll end up out there in the world in a job in IT. And so I just wanted to say that I'm very, very impressed, even with your ability to speak publicly and to get your thoughts across so clearly. So thank you very much for myself personally.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions for the group, or do you have something else to say, Ms. Chow?
Oh no, I was just wondering how we were doing on time, because I know we started a little bit late because of the moving of the chairs and so on, so. Okay. Okay. So is that accurate, fairly accurate though? Okay, all right. So, are there more questions? Does anyone have any?
Do we have any more questions?
Oh, there's
from the
one
group?
over on the side here.
Coming to you.
Who funds the program?
There you go.
Who funds the program was her question. So the curriculum that we use is through an organization